Audio Jungle. 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 Audio Jungle.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Are you all ready for round 18 of the ORL Championship? And as you can see, we've got a cool new intro into, I guess we'll just call it a cool new intro. I don't know what I was going to say, but we have got this cool new intro. Now, as we will close up, you can see that we are practically ready to get underway. So let's turn on the game sound. This may come out a bit loud, so let me just double check the volume settings for now. And I think that the volume settings are fine. Please do let me know if the volume is a little bit off at all or anything like that. But let's run ourselves through all the big name drivers anyway who are taking part today. So the first driver that pops up is Soron. We've also got Formula Danny, who has already left the session, it would seem. We've got Mark 313, of course he's been racing with us since the start of the season, and Photon as well, he's been with us since Monaco. Marek, and we're gonna see the return of Biancolila, Manuel Biancolila, the driver for Ferrari. So he's been absent for a while, so this could be really pivotal in Ferrari's attempts to close down Renault in the championship. We also see Flex's Marcy as well. Right, I'm going to disappear for about 3 minutes, just to get everything, just to make sure everything is perfectly set up in the stream. So I will leave you in the capable hands of Soron as he whizzes around the track. I'll be back in just a couple of minutes, taking a short break. Okay guys, and we are back from our short break and everything should be working now. Right, so guys, I do have the chat available. So, if you have any questions at all, whatever it is, do drop us a message in the chat and we will be able to see everything. Okay, right. So, let's scroll through everyone. Let's close that. Who can we ride on board with? Let's sit on board with Mark, who's currently sitting at the top of the standings. Formula Danny has not completed a lap. He has, it would seem, DNF'd from the session. Anyway, as I keep on saying VP because he used to be VP Mark. Anyway, through turn 10, Mark goes and now into the harsh braking zone of 11. Probably the slowest corner on the track, or one of the 3 slowest corners on the track for sure. DRS activated as you now go down the longest straight of the track into the hairpin of turn 12, brake out about 50 meter board, really wide entry and wide exit, so you can carry a fair bit of speed, a surprising amount of speed actually. Anyway, now through 13 and 14 we go into the long sweeping left-hander of 15, try to get the power on, and now through the triple right-hander of 16, 17 and 18. There's a yellow flag in sector 2, but we're well clear of that now. And now we're going to approach turn 19, which is always much slower than you would expect because the exit just always comes away from you. Through the final corner of turn 20 now to complete the lap. It's going to be a 35.0, not enough to improve just yet. Also, Weeb seems to be really fast today. He's on the super soft tires and he's done a 34.5, so he's right up there in pace. Very surprising, but very quick from Weaves. But we will have to see if any of the guys up ahead have more available to them, or if they're holding anything back. Let's see what Marek can do on the exit of turn 20. He gets a decent run. The wheel spinning a little bit. It's a 35.4. That's a second of what he had done before. Oh, Calcifer back end stepping out massively on the exit of turn 10. But he somehow is able to hold on to that. Soren is on an out. We'll stick on board with Calcifer though. He's currently running 3rd. And it would seem that for the race we may just see an ultra soft tire combination. That's Elsinger sets a 33 on the ultra soft tire, so clearly a lot of time left. Perhaps, dare I say it, we may see a 29 in the race, in qualifying anyway. Because if Elsinger's setting a 33, I'm fairly certain that Formula Danny will be able to set a 31 in qualifying anyway, because usually they're almost a second quicker in qualifying than they are in the race. So add that on to Formula Danny being a second quicker than Elsinger anyway in qualifying, and you're already in low 31. So we may see a high 30, maybe even a 29. I don't know how much they've got available to them. Calcifer says 38.3, but we know his time was a little off. Right, anyway, got to brake so late, make the apex such a wide entry into turn 1, back and stepping out all the way through as you now head through turn 2. Now into 3, 4, 5 and 6. Again, have to be so patient, but need to carry as much speed as you can. Now into 7 you go. Slow it down for 8 and try to get a good slingshot through 9. Back end will step out a bit. He runs a bit wider now through turn 10 and into the hairpin of 11. He just about makes that apex, so it's all good and tidy so far from Calcifer. It says he hasn't turned on the DRS, so this might be a cool down lap for him. Yellow flag at the end of Sector 1, start of Sector 2, which is where we are now, as Calcifer's just got his Sector 2 time in, and we see a bit of a lag. Okay, that's some fairly considerable lag, so let's see if it happens again. If it does, we'll switch over to Soren. Yeah, let's switch over to Soren, who's just setting a 35.2 on the soft tyres, so he should have a bit more pace. Now remember guys, just some points to mention. Formula Danny is currently still closing into Calcifer in the championship, but in the next 4 races, even if Formula Danny wins all of them, Calcifer will have to win. Calcifer will have to finish 2 races in 4th and 2 races in 5th to win. If he gets 1 race in 4th and 3 races in 5th, he will lose by 1 point, and if it's the other way around, he will win by 1 point. So very, very tight, and at the minute, Formula Danny does have more wins under his belt than Calcifer. So even if they are tied on points, it will be Formula Danny's win because he will have more race wins. And this is a battle that will go right down to the wire. If you look at Calcifer's recent finishing positions, you've got 5th, you've got 4th, you've got that 1/10th place as well. So Calcifer, ever since the likes of Formula Danny and Timp joined ORL, he has been finishing around that 4th and 5th spot. So this championship will go all the way down to the final race in Abu Dhabi of this 21 race calendar season. Soren getting a bit scruffy on the exit of turn 19, decent through turn 20. Let's see what it is. It's a 35.7. Ooh, Soren? Yeah, 35.7. So half a second down on what he had done before. However, let's switch over to Marek, who has just started his fast lap. We're going to switch gap over to... Oh, no, we want fast lap. Detail is fitted, yes. So Marek has just started his lap as he heads through the S's in Sector 1. Get it over to the right as you slap it into 7. And now through 8 and 9. Be really patient. It's so easy to run wide and get an invalidated lap time. But that's not going to happen to Marek. Where will he brake? Brakes at about 80 meters for turn 11. Just about clips the apex there. And now power on. He can see Soren ahead. He may... I highly doubt, but he may get a really, really slight toe. However, let's watch the braking point. 60 meters, nice and early. Takes as much curb as he can through turn 12. And now into the double right-hander of 13 and 14. So looking nice and tidy. As he now approaches, as he has now entered Sector 3. Get the power on after turn 15. Again, one of the slowest points on the track. Flat out all the way through 16, 17 and 18. Now slow it down for 19. Have to be patient through there. The exit is much narrower than it looks on the entry. Through turn 20, get the power, and this is looking quick. It's a 33.9, and Marek will move up into 3rd. But Elsing and Black Panther currently in 1st and 2nd. I don't want to jinx anything. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to shut up. However, guys, don't forget this is only practice at the minute, so these times are not exactly representative of what they can do. You may have some people who are doing qualifying runs. I mean, you've got Black Panther who's done 4 laps on the tyres. You've got Calcifer who is on his 9th or 8th lap on these tyres. Whereas you have the likes of Elsing and Marek who have just done 1 flying lap and come into the pits. As this is probably going to be, hopefully we can get some clarification as to how many laps are in this race and what the weather will be in both qualifying and the race, because we did get caught out by the wet weather for the Japanese Grand Prix. So, I mean, 10 laps on the softer compound tyres is usually a decent distance, especially if it's a 25 lap race. If it's 30, you want to be doing more like 12, 13 laps on your softer compound tyres, because don't forget, it's your tyres do get worn out during your qualifying stint if you've qualified in the top 10. As we just got confirmation that both the qualifying and the race will be dry. So that's always good news to hear. As Calcifer, again, having these issues, I'm not sure if that's something on our end or on his end. Mark on an out lap. What about Marek? Marek's 2/10 down with that hot lap. Soren is 1/10 down. Who is on a hot lap? Let's ride on board with Iaponi, who is new to ORL today. So a big welcome from all of us at ORL. And best of luck for your debut race. Back in stepping out through the final corner is only a 36.9. So quicker than Shez, who has changed his name on Steam to Rage F1. As Cleo has left the session, I think he was only spectating in the first place. Ooh, running a fair bit wide through 6, get it pulled back over as you enter 7. But guys, I know it's a bit quiet in practice, but it usually is, so don't worry, once we do enter the good old qualifying, everything will start to liven up just a little bit. As the opponent hits the brakes really late, that was about 60-70 meters, he does make the apex. Yellow flag in sector 3, hopefully that won't catch Iaponi out. As he gets on the power nice and early. Oh, back end stepping out on the exit of 15. So easy to lose traction there. Flat out through the triple right-hander. Oh, he will almost run wide, just about is able to hold that together. As the car squirms out wide all the way through the final corner. Is a 34.4, so that's enough to put Iaponi up into 6th place ahead of Calcifer. However, Weebs has just moved up into 2nd, and this is crazy. Elsinger, Weebs and Black Panther are currently in the top 3. And like Elsinger, Black Panther, usually they just scrape into the top 10 in qualifying and they're picking up points every race, the odd but Weebs barely gets any points. He may pick up the odd point here and there, but this is a great performance from him so far in the practice. Again, we'll have to see how times change heading into qualifying, because once Formula Danny gets out on track and starts putting in some laps, he's virtually unstoppable. As Woods would hit the brakes so late on these ultra soft tyres. Calcifer's just come into the pits. He's done 9 laps on those tyres, and I think he was somewhat consistent on those tyres as well. Weebs as we go through 16, 17 and 18. Weebs will slow it down for the left hand. He just about holds it together. I think he might have just run wide, but really pushing right now is Weebs. His ERS has just gone offline, but that's fine. He had practically used all of it. It's a 33.7, a couple of tenths off what he had done on the previous lap, but still a quick lap nonetheless. VP Marek is actually a tenth up through that first sector, but how much more time do they have? I'm not going to lie, I will go absolutely mental if the top three in qualifying is Black Panther, Elsinger or Weebs. If any two of them are in the top 5, I will go crazy. But they seem to have so much pace right now. It's ridiculous. Maybe someone could let us know what the top times are in time trial, because I'm not 100% sure about this. Like, either you've got our usual suspects who are completely sandbagging, or Panther, Elsinger and Weebs are ridiculously fast today. I mean, they're 2.5 seconds, they're 2 seconds faster than Toffee, and they're usually racing, they're usually maybe a second faster than Toffee and Barney, but 2 seconds is a lot. So, I'm not gonna lie, if Black Panther wins the race, I will take that hands down. We know that he has been quick at certain races. Remember, he qualified in second, if you remember, all the way back to the Spanish Grand Prix, and it unfortunately was taken away from him after Mark made that contact with Panther through turn 4. It wrecked his race. Otherwise, Panther was actually leading the Grand Prix. So we know that he does have pace, and the Circuit of the Americas here in Austin is very similar to Barcelona in terms of how fast and flowing it is, as well as its combination with low speed corners. So considering that Spain was a good track for him, it's not surprising that Austin is also a good track for him. Also expect Abu Dhabi / Mexico to be strong tracks for him as well then, because those are also really quick tracks that have these kind of combination of slow corners in similarity with Spain. In fact, more so Mexico than Abu Dhabi. But Elsinger's just set a 32.7. Let's see what Marek can do. It's only a 35.1. Absolutely crazy, crazy scenes right now. But the only way we will know for sure is when everyone finishes their laps. Now, Elsinger has done his lap on these ultra soft tires. Calcifer is still in the pits. Iaponi is on the super soft, so when he puts on the ultra soft, he may gain about 0.8 of a second. So expect him to be on about 33.5 with Weebs, Black Panther and Elsinger. But he's going to come into the pits now, losing the back end ever so slightly. But Sauron, it would appear, is on a hot lap as he exits turn 11. Let's see what he could do. Oh, having a bit, have to stifle a yawn. Don't forget, neither of the Velocity guys have come out onto track, and usually they are the fastest drivers, hands down. Like, if you had to say who's going to be your quickest two drivers, and Tim isn't there, is always going to be Formula Danny. Formula Danny is always going to be your quickest driver if Tim's not there, and then probably Photon. I mean, Mark has out-qualified Danny once, where he took pole back in... what was the race before Japan? I can't remember. It was a race with Russia. It was in Russia. So yeah. It's not unheard of, but it can happen. 35.7. And again, I'm just so astonished by these times. As Bianca Lila, never quick in qualifying and practice, but always has a good race pace. Very Alan Prost-esque in his kind of timings between qualifying and the race. So we're going to see a yellow flag in Sector 2. Soren about to enter Sector 2. Sector 1 ends on the approach to turn 11, which is where we are now. So we're going to see that delta pop up. Okay, maybe he has already passed it. I think it's on the exit of turn 8 through turn 9. So there is now a yellow flag in sector 1. However, let's move over to Black Panther, who's now in sector 2. So again, as we mentioned, sector 1, I think it's on the exit of turn 7 actually. Right, okay guys, so we're going to be taking a short pause. We're going to be right back in about... Ooh, actually, hang on. Let me just try this. We're getting a bit of buffering with the stream, so we're going to turn down some stuff. So just bear with me for 1 minute. Okay, and that should have fixed some stuff. We just had to turn down the frame rate. Yeah, I think that has fixed it somewhat. Okay, so now that that is out of the way, who are we riding on board? Right, we're on board with Mr. Panther, who is on a hot lap as he goes through turn 18. And now 19 for the final corner. He's gonna head into the pit lane. Again, those ultra soft tires had only done 1 lap, but he was able to jump ahead of Elsinger with a 32.5, and that is the end of the session. Right guys, we're going to take a short break. So, just to clarify, currently on board, actually let's sit on board with Mark. He might be going for one slightly quicker lap. No, he's going to come into the pits. What about the likes of Marek? So Marek hasn't quite finished his lap yet. Calcifer still has a bit to go. Yep, and he's going to feed the power in. Let's see, actually, Marek is slightly closer to ending. What about Barney? No, Barney's a fair bit back. Let's see if Marek can improve. Let's see if they have had the pace all along. It's looking very quick. It's a 30, 31, 31.6. There we go. There is the pace that we were expecting. And Marek brings it out right at the end. Right, let's sit on board with Iepany. It's a 32.4. It's not going to be class. What about Calcifer? 31.5. So there you go. Calcifer and Marek much quicker than Panther and Elsinger. Almost a second advantage. But don't forget, when Formula Danny comes out, he'll most likely up the game even further. And we may see some 130s on the table. However, guys, we're going to be taking that little short break now. Guys, don't go anywhere. Maybe replenish up on your snacks or something. But we will be back in just a short moment. So do stay tuned. Alright guys, and we are now back for some good old F1 2018 as we have entered qualifying. So let's turn up all of our data, shall we? And let's ride on board who's going to be out first. Of course, it's probably going to be Elsinger. So let's see who we can sit on board with for now. Oh, press Alt Tab by accident. Right. Ooh, where's Photon? Outlap, outlap. Who is close to starting their lap? Panther. No, he's on an outlap as well. Is Elsing in the pits? No, Elsinger must be on a hot lap. Here we go. Of course, Elsinger's always the first one out on track. This is the first rule of ORL. Right, but we're going to ride on board with Elsinger. Again, as is tradition, the first qualifying lap will be shown with Elsinger, who's always out of the pits first. Anyway, into turn 7 and now 8 we go. Have to be a little bit patient through 9, can lose a back end through there. Break out about 17 meters for turn 11, misses the apex slightly, and now will lose a back end on the exit. And that means that Black Panther's going to be the one who's going to get the first lap in. As we approach turn 12, you can brake really late, about 60 meters. We'll just about clip that apex. Very nice braking point from Mr. Panther. Now, as we go through turn 13 and 14, we're heading into 15. Slowest corner on the track, I think 55 miles an hour. Panther went down to, and now through the triple right hander of 16, 17 and 18. Patient through 19, the exit isn't as wide as it looks on the entry. Through the final corner of 20, what's this time going to be? It's looking decent, it's a 31.6. That matches what Marek did at the end of practice. So let's see who is close to finishing a lap. Here we go. Here's Marek. What can he do? It's a 30.2, but it will not count. And if Marek can do a 30.2, Formula Danny can do a 29, I'm sure. So we do still have hope of seeing a 129 in the race. But Biancalila coming round the final corner to start his flying lap. Right, and away we go then. So let's sit on board for a hot lap from Mr. Biancalila. As Soren sets a 30.5, but Biancalila breaks nice and late, makes the apex. Again, let's see what his, as Photon sets a 30.4. These are the times we were expecting in practice, but weren't coming through. Everyone on the ultra soft tires for the minute, as Biancalila will set a 24.4 for his first sector, or 24.36. But really, really nice so far from Biancalila. Very smooth. Again, throwing it in a little bit where needed, but smooth and entertaining to watch. As we go through turn 11, doesn't lose too much speed and is able to get on the power straight away without losing any traction. Now watch the braking point. 60 meters on the brakes. Big lock up from the front left tire, but will make the apex. So Weeb sets a 33.0. Biancalila runs a little wide on the exit of 14, but he's still able to make 15. Gets on the power nice, as Formula Danny sets a 30 flat. So a great lap from him. But now riding aboard with Biancalila, nice and smooth through turn 19. Looking like a decent lap time actually. 28, 29, 30.3. Biancalila moves second. And it's a Ferrari 2 and 3. Great lap from MilkyCereal. Iaponi with a 31.5, so racing right on the same pace as Black Panther. So doing a decent job, and maybe he'll be the one to bridge the gap between the likes of Calcifer, MilkyCereal, all of those guys at the top, and the best of the rest, which is currently between Black Panther and Elsinger. Elsinger currently leading the best of the rest in the championship. So he's on a cool down lap. Formula Danny is on his cool down lap as well. Let's just see if anyone is actually on a hot lap. Right, let's ride on board with Shez then, or Rage as he is now called. He's 6/10 up actually through the first sector, so he'll be trying to get it into the 33s. Him and Twin Barrel J fairly close for position at the minute, which not too usual. Usually Twin Barrel J is a fair bit ahead of Rage and Emilio as well, so maybe he just didn't get a good lap together. Don't forget, guys, if you do have any questions, comments, or anything like that, do get them in onto the YouTube chat. We're always more than happy to answer any questions. As also, we've got entries being taken for season 11 now as well. Oh, as the Shez massively messes up turn 19. Let's ride on board with Marek actually. He's coming around the final corner to start his hot lap. He tries to get the best possible run, and he does so fairly well. Remember, he set a 30.5, but it just wasn't allowed. Turn 1 is neat. Now through into turn 2. Now through the S's. Lovely little downshift to 6, and now 5th. In 5th actually through turn 7, drop it down to 4th for turn 8 and 9. Back on the power, and let's just watch the braking point now. About 80 meters. We'll drop it down to about 53 miles an hour. Formula Danny on his outlap as Marek takes all of the curb possible on the apex. Shez is in the way, but Shez is on his own hot lap. Will he get out of the way? No, he won't. And Marek will run into the back of him. Marek's not going to be happy about that, and Shez won't be happy about that. To be fair, he doesn't look that happy right now. But that was an interesting decision. I guess Marek thought that Shez was going to get out of the way, but obviously Shez wasn't, because he was on his own hot lap. Now let's ride on board with Photon, because Photon is on his hot lap. Then MilkyCereal will finish his, followed by Soron. Actually, Soron's almost about to finish his lap. Let's ride on board with Soron then. It's a slow lap for now, so let's move back on board to Velocity Photon. Down the back straight, turn on the DRS. Let's see what the delta is. Let's see if we can actually see what the delta is, or the delta difference. Everyone on the ultra soft tires, however, don't forget Anyone who doesn't qualify in the top 10 gets a fresh set of tyres to start the race on. So currently, Elsinger and above will be starting on the tyres they set their laps on. So qualifying 11th is never a bad thing, especially if you're Weebs, Elsinger, Myler or Panther. However, Panther doing a phenomenal job currently in 6th place, but Mark and Marek are still yet to set their hot laps. A little bit of a lock up from the front left from Photon, but let's see what this is. It's not going to be enough. It's only a 30.5, so 1/10 down on what he did previously. So unable to find the pace right now, but here comes Biancalila. Let's see what he can do. He's actually going to dive straight into the pits. Loses the back end all the way through. What about Danny? Danny the man. Can he find the 29? Can he be the hero of the day and put in, gets at least finally someone could get into the 20s? Through the final corner, gets on the power. I don't think it's going to be good enough. It is! It's a 29.8. And Formula Danny goes first. However, Mark, with a 33, jumps just ahead of Biancalila and Photon. So that's demoted the Ferraris to locking out that second row of the grid. Iapani, I'm not sure if he's on a hot lap. Let's just take a look. No, I don't think he's on a hot lap. There was no lock up there at all. Right, let's sit on board with Marek. This might be Marek's final chance to get in a flying lap. And remember, either last week or 2 weeks ago, you had the likes of, who was it? Railgon and I can't remember who else, but they were unable to set their laps at Russia because they kept getting invalidated lap times. But it's a 30.2 from Marek. No, a 30.2. That is Marek's best time, but it was disallowed because he must have exceeded track limits somewhere. Right, riding on board with Marek now as we go through the S's. Into the chicane of 8 and 9, and now through the king of 10. And this time Rage will get well out of the way of Marek. Causes a brief yellow flag, but that's fine. Marek now straight back on the power. Let's see what he can do. Again, these are brand new, fresh, ultra soft tyres. Now watch the braking point. Oh, about 60 meters in. Drops it down to 56 miles an hour. And now into the double right-hander of 13 and 14. Locks up, but he does make the apex for 15, which is what you need to do now through the triple right-hander of 16, 17 and 18. And then you have to be really patient through 19. Use up all of the rotors you can. Runs wide. Hopefully that will not cost him. He's going to come in the pits. So that lap was either slow or it had been disallowed. Now, he's going to have 3 minutes to get back around the track and set another lap. And he has to make sure he does not run off the track, because that will throw everything away. Black Panther not on a hot lap yet, but we can ride aboard with him because he will be starting his lap very, very shortly. Let's ride on board with Marcy because he will cross the line before Panther. Then we can switch back over to Panther once Flex Marcy has finished his lap. Okay, this is interesting. So VP Marek has put on a set of the super soft tyres. So let's see. So the super soft tyres, that will only work for him as a strategy if he can qualify it, or as Flex's Marcy completely loses the back end, fishtailing all the way through the S's. Black Panther will now power through. He runs wide, so that's going to invalidate his lap time, and that's going to be his session over. Losing the back end through turn 9/10. Right, here comes Mark. Let's see what he can do. This is gonna be his final lap. He'll get around in time to start another lap, but I don't think he will want to. So let's see if he can improve on his 30.3 and lock out that front row of the grid with Formula Danny. Through the S's. Oh, drops it down to 6th. Now down to 5th. We'll drop it down to 4th for the left-hander. Will he go down to 3rd? No, he doesn't. He keeps it in 4th. Again, it's sometimes nice just to keep it in a higher gear so you don't get excess wheel spin. Now watch the braking point. About 80 meters again. Just about clips the apex. And straight back on the power. Very, very quick lap so far. Where's Formula Danny? Formula Danny is starting his hot lap now. Iepany will actually get the checker flag at a really nice point. Would be the last one to cross the finish line. Mark taking as much apex as he dares through turn 12. Car drifts out slightly, under braking into 13. Bit of understeer there. Now he makes the apex for 15. However, let's just keep an eye on Biancalila. Biancalila about to start his lap time, so he'll be one of the final people to cross that finish line as Mark a little bit of the back end stepping out. However, this is looking quick. He's currently on a 27, 29, 30.1, but it will not count. He invalidated the lap time, and I think that was right at the end where he ran a bit wide. What about Velocity Photon though? What can he do? It's a 30.1 from Photon. And in fact, Mark did a 30.19, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway. A good time from Photon, currently a Velocity 1-2. Is there anyone really close to completing the lap time? What about Mark? Mark's a fair bit away. Let's sit on board with Formula Danny then, because he is coming into the final sector as we speak. Runs a little wide. Can he improve though? A really nice exit. There's a 29.5. Formula Danny says, you guys think you can get close to my time? Here's a 29.5, but it doesn't actually count. So that's slightly anticlimactic. But we're on board with Soron right now. Calcifer's right behind him. Can Soron improve off a 30.5? He can. It's a 30.4. But Calcifer goes third with a 30.3. What about Biancalila? It's a 30 flat. But it's not enough. It won't count. Biancalila could have taken second. But this is a really, really close grid. Look from Calcifer to Soron. A 1/10 of a second separating them. But Marek, a 30.6 on the super soft tires. And he is actually in a really good position for the race, considering that he only got one hot lap in. However, as expected, Iepany bridging that gap between the likes of Marek and Soron to the likes of Black Panther, Marcy and Myla. However, Twin Barrel J all the way at the back of the grid with Shez, and we know they do a lot of practicing together, but surprising to see Twin Barrel J all the way back there. Usually he's kind of close to the guys ahead. Right guys, so confirmation of the qualifying results. Formula Danny will take pole, 3/10 ahead of Photon, who is a further 2/10 clear of Calcifer. MRL Mark will take 4th place, only 400ths ahead of Biancalila, who was 1/10 ahead of Soron. VP Marek rounds out the 3rd row of the grid on those super soft tyres, so watch out for him in the race. because he's going to be extremely quick on those tyres, especially when he has to come into, especially for his second stint where he will be on those ultra soft tyres. Now, as usual, we will have to do our race introduction, so do bear with me if that kind of sounds a little bit weird. Don't forget, if you have any questions, comments, or if you just want to cheer for your driver, drop a message in the chat. We'll give you a nice little mention on the stream, which may even come out on the highlights, if you're lucky. If it's a great comment, we'll get you in on the highlights, I'm sure. If you've got any questions about how to join ORL, all of that stuff, do message. We have some of the admins who are in the chat anyway, so they can help you. And if it's a really easy question, I can probably answer that on stream and clarify it for anyone else thinking the same question. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 18 of the ORL season, as season 10 is rounding out to a close. Only 4 races left, including the race today. And Formula Danny closing in slowly but surely on Calcifer in the standings. Calcifer, if Formula Danny wins the next 4 races, which is highly likely since Formula Danny has won the last 4, Calcifer needs to get 2 fourths and a 5th to win the championship. If he gets 1 fourth and 3 fifths, he will lose the championship by 1 point. Now that the stakes are known, let's run you through the grid order. It's a velocity 1-2 with Calcifer and Mark rounding out the second row of the grid. Biancalila and Soren make up row 3. But on row 4, we've got the 2 Red Bulls, and Marek is on the super soft tyres. Everyone qualified on those ultra soft tyres, but Marek on those super soft tyres. So watch out for him in the race. Also, a massive welcome to Iepony, who has joined us for his first ever race in ORL. Iepony, quick driver, races in AOR Split 3, so one to watch out for in the race, as he will be looking to be bridging that gap between, as I've mentioned constantly, between the top guys and the best of the rest of Black Panther, Flexes Marcy, Elsinger, etc. Speaking of Panther, Panther and Marcy make up the 5th row of the grid, followed by Myla, Weebs, Elsinger and Barney. Emilio Sachs takes 15th, followed by Toffee, and rounding out the grid, Twin Barrel J and Rage F1, formerly known as Shez. Now, also remember, Biancalila has returned to us. That has a big consequences, because it means that Ferrari have both of their drivers. So finally, both of the Ferrari points will count towards the championship. So this is a big opportunity for Ferrari to close in onto Renault in the championship. But we are about to get underway, so let's hold our breaths for the red lights to come up on screen. Right, so here we are, ready, lining up on the grid. 3 red lights, 4 red lights, 5 red lights. Lights are out, and away we go. It's a really good start from Velocity Photon. Let's hope he didn't jump the start there. Mark has dropped a place. He's going to try to go down the inside of Calcifer. He'll try to find something. Biancalila on the outside of Calcifer. Let's ride on board, because right now Biancalila, Mark has the inside on Biancalila. There's a little bit of contact. Let's see what we can from Marek's perspective. He's on those super soft tyres, so he's just going to try to stay out of trouble as much as he can. We've got Flexes Marcy. Black Panther has lost the position as well. So not a good start from Black Panther, as Biancalila is into the wall. Biancalila and Mark must have made a little bit of contact, and that was on the exit of turn 9. And Biancalila, on his first race back after such a long time away, is out of the race before it even begins. What a shame. But let's look on board here, because Soren is looking down the inside of Iepony. He's going to make it work, I think. But watch out, because Mark now has the inside as they head into turn 13. And he's going to make it work. However, Soren is still side by side. There's contact between the two of them, as Soren will go down the inside for 15. Can Mark perhaps get a slightly better run? Soren will seemingly hold on to the position for now. And your standings at the end of lap 1 is going to be Formula Danny ahead of Photon from Calcifer, Soren and Mark, while Iepany and Marek make up 6th and 7th. Now let's just see what Calcifer can do. Can he keep up with Formula Danny and Photon? Speaking to Calcifer midweek, he said that his issue so far has been that he gets all of his penalties in the first 5 laps. After 5 laps, he doesn't even get a single warning, like maybe 1 warning, but no penalties. So he also said that he loses too much time in the first few laps, but after those laps are done, he's straight on the pace. So if he can keep up with Photon and Danny, he may have a chance. Also, a third place would be really, really good for his championship hopes. Almost a little bit of contact there between Mark and Soren, but let's go down because Panther and Marcy were fairly close together. But it seems that nothing will amount of that. Less than 3 tenths separating Mark and Soren. Remember, DRS has not yet been enabled, but Soren and Mark closing in onto Calcifer, and this is what Formula Danny needs. Calcifer to lose as much positions as possible. If currently the championship is very, very, very tight, there may be 50 points separating it, but considering Formula Danny's run of form and Calcifer's, this championship is still alive for Formula Danny. So if Calcifer finishes 6th or something, honestly my money would be on Formula Danny to win the title. As Formula Danny setting a new fastest lap, Calcifer though is within that crucial 1 second window, as Twin Barrel J will pick up a 3-second time penalty. So let's write that down as we always do. Mark getting close to Soren, so we're going to try to ride on board with these guys for as long as we can. Also, we'll have to keep an eye on Black Panther and Flex's Marcy because that gap's quite tight and it's a battle for the final couple of points as well. And it's close, so what more do you want? However, this is all starting to heat up a lot now as we are almost halfway through lap 3 of this 28 lap race. So expect most of the pit stops to be coming through at about lap 12 or so. Now Formula Danny has pulled that 1 second gap to Photon, who is also a second ahead of Calcifer. So they won't get DRS. Soren has DRS on Calcifer and Mark has it. However, let's take a look back here because Mark is right alongside Iepany and will go down the inside. Also, let's look further back because Black Panther, he's going for the outside round. Flexes Marcy. Can he hold it? He should get a slightly better drive. Can he go down the inside into 13? He will get the move done. Now Myler, also he wants to have a go. Flexes Marcy is going to have to go defensive. Black Panther, he can't actually hold on to the position. Meanwhile, up ahead, Marek did get the move to stick on Iepany as Myler drifting a bit wide. There's a bit of contact. Marcy and Panther with a little coming together. Black Panther will get past Marcy though. And that is going to be Black Panther through. Can he now pull ahead and get that 1 second gap going? Myler has DRS now. You can really dive bomb into turn 1. And that's what he is going to do. He's down the inside. Can he make it stick? Yes, he can. As just behind, Elsing has a massive, massive moment. And Elsing is going to feed out just behind Twin Barrel J. Barney fairly close as well. And we've got a really big scrap on our hands now for the final couple of points. As Flexes Marcy runs wide. Reeves is going to sweep round on the outside into turn 8. So that's going to be Weaves up into that final points position. But let's look up ahead because Mark has DRS once again on Soren. Can he possibly find a way through? Now there's a yellow flag in sector 2. I wonder what that could be for. We're kind of skimming down the order but not too much happening. But let's look at this because Elsinger close to TBJ. Twin Barrel J has the DRS on Marcy. Could go for the inside. He will. Elsinger will look to just try to get a good run on the pair of them. Can't quite get it off just yet. However, Panther is pulling that gap. Can he try to close down to Iepany? And let's see what he can do. It seems like the Myler fanboys are out. Thank you, Mel and Sundar and Neko, for joining the chat. I hope you're enjoying today's broadcast of round 18. Right, we're going to skip back through the order as Mark, Soren and Calcifer coming so close together, but Formula Danny over 2 seconds ahead, and Calcifer is doing a really good job right now. However, Formula Danny really needs... If I was Formula Danny, I guess it's a bit too early to do this yet, but I would be backing Calcifer back into Soren and Mark. But Mark gets a really good run out of turn 9. Could he have a cheeky little look into 10? No, he's not. They're just going to all stay together. As Soren actually seems to have a pretty decent run. Maybe he could have a go onto Calcifer. Calcifer's a little bit back on Photon, so it doesn't have the full slipstream effect. Soren, ooh, getting so close, will lock up just that little bit. And the gaps are so close in this battle for second place. That stretches all the way down to 5th. However, don't discount Marek, because Marek is on the super soft tyres. So he is on the best strategy out of all 5 of them. Also, Black Panther closing in onto Iapani. The gap before was only about 3 seconds, but Mark right on the tail of Soren now. Can he possibly have a go into turn 1? Calcifer is on the tail of Photon. Now, there are 2 things that could be happening here. Either Calcifer is faster than Photon, or Photon is doing some service to his teammate. Formula Danny's in the pit. And that's a really early pit stop. But up ahead, Calcifer has made this move through onto Photon. Soren and Mark side by side through the S's. Mark will actually get the position to work out. And Photon holding up Calcifer, and you have to believe that this was team tactics, as Marek picks up a 3-second time penalty. Now Formula Danny has come out a couple of seconds behind, as Soren is going to get taken by Marek, possibly down the inside into turn 11. Soren, can he get a better run? No, I don't think he can. Now Calcifer is free. Can he pull away from Photon, or does Photon have an answer to him? Soren's going to back out of this. He's going to try to get the run on Marek. But now that Calcifer's through, let's see what kind of gap he can pull. Also, this is extremely important for the Constructors' Championship. Now that Bianca Lila is out of the race, the entire Constructors' battle is pretty much resting on this battle between Photon and Calcifer. Let's sit on board with Mark right now. Very close to Photon. Elsinger closing in on Barney, but we have to focus on this battle for now. DRS activated by Mark. He may be able to have a little go onto Photon, but Formula Danny going for that 2-stop strategy. So let's see how well that can work out for him, as there is a bit of contact between Mark and Photon. Mark just tapping the back of Photon. Let's just see if that affected his wing at all. I don't think so. But Marek is right on the tail of Mark. Don't forget, this is a track that wears out your tyres a lot, purely because of this SS section and the fact that you get so much locking up on your tyres. Soren's a bit far back at the minute to be part of this battle. He's kind of fallen back. However, Photon's still within half a second of Calcifer. Photon's going to run wide. Mark will try to just sneak in there. Barney picks up a 3-second time penalty. So we're going to write that down. However, let's look at this, because Mark is trying to find a way through on the Photon. And he's going to go down the inside. Photon going to try to hold it around the outside. This is a great race so far. But Photon runs wide. And Marek will pick up the position. Soren's too far back to take any advantage of that. Marek taking a little look at Mark. But Calcifer, meanwhile, is slowly starting to stretch out a lead. Is almost a second. But Mark, who was arguably the quickest out of all of these guys, is now able to hunt down Calcifer, which could be extremely important. Formula Danny cutting through the field and is only 8 seconds down on this group, as Soren is going to come in the pit. So let's watch out and see if that undercut from Soren is able to allow him to jump ahead of these guys. Also, Soren seemingly also on the 2-stop strategy. But Calcifer is being absolutely hounded by Mark and Marek. Photon just able to kind of tag along. But Calcifer is under a lot of pressure from Mark. We've seen these two drivers battle in the past. Remember, they're coming together in Canada when battling for the lead of the race. This is arguably something that could have cost Calcifer the championship. But Mark, he's going to go down the inside of Calcifer. If he pushes him wide, this could really bring things up. This could really spice things up. Mark won't be able to get the move to stick, and he will still be stuck there. Oh, but look at this. Marek's going to go down the inside of Mark, and he's going to make the move to stick. Great move by Marek. And Mark trying to go for that late apex. And Marek just says, fine, I'll go down the inside then. We've got Myla closing in on Black Panther. Let's look at tyres. However, Calcifer is into the pit. So remember, Soren had just pitted. As a Mark gets a 5-second stop-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And that is a massive, massive shame for Mark. Formula Danny setting the fastest lap of the race. Myla, let's see if Myla can find any way through on Black Panther into turn 1. Black Panther won't go defensive. Myla on the super soft tyres compared to Black Panther's ultra soft. Myla did not start in the top 10, so he had that free choice of tyres. But here's Calcifer. And Soren with the undercut was unable to get the undercut to work for him. But let's just stick on board with this, because this could be an entertaining battle. Calcifer also has to find a way past Weebs. Now, Twin Barrel J is within a second of Calcifer, which will make getting past it slightly more difficult for Mark, but I'm sure he will find a way through. Let's see if Soren goes for the inside. No, he won't. Twin Barrel J gonna run a bit wide. Soren loses the back end ever so slightly. Now, meanwhile, just up ahead, Calcifer's got DRS on Weebs. So surely he's going to find a way through. And yeah, that's going to be Calcifer through nice and securely. As Soren's found a way through a Mark, but he's run wide. And Mark's going to be able to hold on to his position. A good attempt though for Mark, as a Marek picks up a 3-second time penalty. All of this really, really important for Calcifer, who hasn't picked up a penalty yet. And if he can get a second place here, there's only going to be about 40 points. Actually, it's going to be about 45 points separating Calcifer and Formula Danny with 3 races to go, as Photon is also in the pits. And Photon's going to lose so much time. So if we ride on board with Photon, he's going to come out behind this group. He's ahead of Iapani, but he's massively, massively behind. But now we're going to see Mark and Calcifer on the exact same tyres, and they're going to try to go to the end on these soft tyres. Remember, they started on the ultra soft tyres, so they could possibly do this. However, with the Velocity Photon did go onto those soft tyres, but he could, sorry, not Velocity Photon, who was it? Marek is on the super soft tyres, so he's still in for a good, solid race. Who else could possibly throw a spanner into the works? Rage picks up a 3-second time penalty, but he's at the back of the grid. So Marek and Formula Danny are probably going to be finishing 2nd and 1st respectively, just because of Marek's strategy. Now Calcifer will probably take 3rd, but it's whether Mark and Soren can compete with him. Now Mark has a 5-second time penalty. Soren has no penalty. So this is going to be very, very interesting to see how it all pans out. As Marek is into the pit, so that will presumably be for a nice soft set of tyres. Now the overcut has seemingly worked for everyone so far, but I don't think it's going to work for Marek in this instance. Let's see if we can see where he's coming out. No, we can't. What about from Mark, Soren? Okay, so Marek going to come out just ahead of Soren. He's going to try. I don't think he can have a go on Marek just yet. But Marek on just a couple of lap fresher tyres than Calcifer and Mark. So this will be interesting. Does Marek have the pace not only to close in, overtake, but he has to pull a 3-second gap? And Soren won't be able to find any way through just yet. But Formula Danny, he will have one more pit stop to make. So he'll be right in this battle as Barney picks up his second penalty of the Grand Prix. And right now it would seem that everything is starting to quiet down. But Soren actually, he's going to have a go at Marek. Going to look for the outside into turn 12. And he's not going to be able to find a way through. But he's going to get the cutback. Round the outside into 13. Leaves the room for Marek. But he's going to be able to get the job done. Now Marek, he's gone down the inside into 15 before. But he won't be able to do so today. And Soren will make the move stick on the slightly warmer soft tyres. Marek only just came out of the pits this lap. Now let's stick on board with Mark as Myler's going to come in the pits this lap round. Now Soren's picked up a 3-second time penalty, which means that everyone around Calcifer has got a penalty with the exception of Velocity Photon. But let's see if Mark actually can close into Calcifer. Less than a second separating them, and perhaps Soren and Marek could close up as well. Velocity Photon 2 seconds back, and he just hasn't seemed to have had the pace today. Right, let's go ahead because Mark is really closing in on Calcifer, and he seems to have a lot more pace than Calcifer. Maybe he could pull out that 3-second time gap as well if he does find a way through. No way through there, but Marek gonna find a way back through onto Soren. They clip the cone, but that's not gonna affect anything too much. Now let's ride on board with Soren because he might try to find a way through down the inside into 15. And he's unable to find anything. But up ahead is still Mark close to Calcifer. If he can find a way through, I honestly think he could pull away. But getting past Calcifer is easier said than done. All of this battling, especially between Soren and Marek, is allowing Photon to close back up. As Weaves is going to come in the pits, Twin Barrel J picks up his second 3-second time penalty of the race. But Mark, he seems to be much quicker in the high downforce sectors in the S's, namely. So it's if he can find, so he might just have more downforce than Calcifer, which is what is making it more difficult to get past. But let's see if he can get a good drive out of turn 11 this time round. And it's a really good run, and you'd have to think that he will have this in the bag. Marek has pulled away from Soren, but Marek is going to find, Mark is going to find a way through on Calcifer, and he will get the job done. Marek, not Marek, Mark up to second place. Are we going to see Elsinger find a way through on Weebs actually right now? Look at the closing speed from Elsinger. I'm going to take a look on the outside. Will he hold it or go for the cutback? He goes for a form of the cutback, but it's not going to work. Now if we go back up ahead, Marek is on Calcifer. Calcifer has the DRS, which is what's keeping him alive. But Marek will go down the inside anyway. Calcifer holding it round the outside, but this is allowing Mark to pull away, and Calcifer will be outside of this 1 second gap. Don't forget, this is where Mark is much quicker than Calcifer. Over a second separating Marek and over a second separating Calcifer and Mark, but Marek will get a great run out of turn 9, and he's going to have a go down the inside into 11. Does he make the move stick, or can Calcifer get the cutback? Marek's the one with DRS, so Calcifer, even with the slipstream, may struggle to find a way through. He's just about keeping up. Marek's going to go defensive. And this is allowing Soren and Photon to catch up, which is all good news for Twin Barrel J. Calcifer forced out slightly wide. He's going to go down the inside though. Marek has none of it. He's going to hold the outside. Calcifer forced to cut the corner slightly, but Calcifer down the inside now into 15. But this is going to allow Soren to have a go. No, not a chance, not down the outside. He's going to have a go. It's 3 abreast through the long round, and Photon's going to find a way through. This is crazy. Photon runs wide now, and that means that Calcifer's going to get back through, as is Soren. Crazy, crazy. Seems that Calcifer seemingly struggling on these soft tyres. But look at this. Marcus pulled 3 seconds ahead of Marek, which is exactly what he needed to do. Don't forget, he has 5 seconds of penalties for speeding into the pit lane. But Calcifer struggling once again through the S's, losing about half a second almost to Marek. Now Soren, could he possibly find a way through on Calcifer here? In fact, it may be Photon who finds a way through on Soren. Now Calcifer has DRS, but he's 8 tenths down. Soren has DRS as well, but Photon's even closer. No changes in position this time round down the back straight. Photon takes a fairly late apex, but keep an eye on that gap between Marek and Mark. Is Marek able to close up on Mark or not? He has slightly fresher soft tyres, which may make a difference slightly later on in the race. And Photon carrying so much more speed than Soren, but Soren picks up a 3 second time penalty for running wide on the exit of turn 19. Now keep an eye between Formula Danny and Mark. It's currently 16 seconds. So Formula Danny's going to have to pit at some point onto a fresh set of super soft tyres, and then he will just make it to the end of the race on those with quite a significant pace difference over these guys. Calcifer is over a second down as Photon picks up a 3 second time penalty. That's Photon's first of the race. Now let's keep an eye as we're gonna come through turn 11. Can Photon get a good enough drive onto Soren? Calcifer no DRS this time, but Soren, actually Soren doesn't have DRS. He hasn't activated his DRS yet, so maybe he's got a DRS issue, or I'm not sure. But Photon again closing in, and now that Calcifer's out of DRS range, expect these guys to be able to close in onto him, especially if they don't fight with each other. As Photon's going to look for the inside. Surely he can't make that work, as Soren will get the better exit on the outside on the grippier part of the track. Now Photon much quicker usually through the triple right-hander, but it's still close. Now Soren is over a second down on Calcifer, which means that Photon will get DRS, Soren won't, and then he'll be able to hunt down Calcifer. Let's see what he can do. He has DRS, Soren doesn't. He's going to have a look down the inside, and I think, yeah, he's pretty much got it done. But let's keep an eye on Soren, who's going to go for the cutback. He's now on the outside as Mark picks up a 3 second time penalty. We're going to write that down, but Soren trying to find a way through on Photon, and he's going to be unable to do so as he carries a bit too much speed into the S's, and he has to correct it now. Calcifer 2 seconds down on Marek, and that's going to be big news because Photon is within a second, and he's going to hunt down Calcifer completely and try to push Calcifer down to 5th place. So Photon's still too far back, but this lap is all about closing into Calcifer and then going for the move next lap. Mark closing in onto Formula Danny, but not by that much, so Formula Danny can still risk doing a few more laps, but when he'll pit. Okay, Formula Danny's into the pits now. So we're riding on board with Mark as we speak. And you can just see Mark in the corner of your shot now. So Mark's found a way through. Marek's not going to find a way through. So Formula Danny's going to feed out into 2nd place. And he's on the super soft tyres for another 10 laps. However, Photon closing in every single lap onto Calcifer, who's falling back from Marek. Mark doing a good job at the minute, just getting in lap after lap. Photon's going to go down the inside. Surely not, and he will have to back out of it. Calcifer later on the brakes. But a good opportunistic idea there from Photon. But here we go, Calcifer. This time, he's 4 seconds down on Marek. Really struggling for pace right now. Also, Elsinger's down in 12th. So if Photon could get a 3rd or a 2nd even, it'll be big points for Ferrari over Renault. However, Calcifer's going to go to the inside. He's going to go to the outside. Photon going to try it down the inside of Calcifer. But Calcifer takes none of it and holds it around the outside of turn 12. And Calcifer will hold on to his position for a little bit longer. Photon going for the late apex. Can he get a better run than Calcifer through the triple right-hander? He's been very quick through here so far. I feel like Calcifer has a lower downforce setup, which helps him down the straight, but is costing him through the S's. There's a blue flag up ahead, but Velocity Photon is right up the chuff of Calcifer. Calcifer going to go defensive, and this is good news for Soren, who's trying to close in as well. But Soren seemingly struggling for pace right now. And Calcifer is going to lose a lot of time here to Photon as usual. Can Photon go for that dive once again? He's going to decide against it this time. Just needs to try and get the best of exit from turn 11. But Calcifer is fighting with absolutely everything he has right now. What's the exit like? Is not the best exit in the world. He will get DRS though. Let's see if he does have the closing speed or not. Calcifer's on the right. Will he go defensive? He will. Photon's on the inside. Last time it was Photon's on the outside this time. Photon was on the inside last time. But Photon now has the inside for turn 13. Calcifer trying to hold it. Calcifer now going to go down the inside of Photon. Photon trying to hold it. He has been forced out wide. Photon will not want to lose a position to Calcifer. He's going to go down the inside through the triple right-hander. A good move from Photon. But Calcifer trying to hold it around the outside. We've got a three-way battle here. And this may actually allow Soren to find a way through. Speaking of Soren, let's just ride on board with him now. Down the start-finish straight. Photon doesn't have DRS. He's going to have to go defensive, surely. He's not. He feels confident that he can get past Calcifer. But he has a bit of a moment on the exit, and Calcifer will hold on to that position. Great battling from these guys so far. Here we go. Photon's going to go for the inside again. But Calcifer will shut the door completely, as in Photon has a lag spike and he's falling behind Soren now. He's going to have to do it all over again. And when I say do it all over again, I mean get past Soren. He did it well last time, but arguably Soren has only closed into Calcifer because of the fighting between these guys. Meanwhile, up ahead, Formula Danny has found a way through on Mark, but Marek closing in on Mark. The gap between Calcifer and Marek is 8 seconds. So as it stands, Calcifer will finish 4th ahead of Soren and Photon. As Mark actually picks up another 3-second time penalty. So he has 11 seconds of time penalties. So he needs to keep on pushing from Calcifer. However, Iepany is closing in onto this battle because there has been so much fighting between these guys. Guys, let us know in the comments what are your predictions for this race. I want to know your top 3. And I want to know how you think this battle is going to end on the road. Not after penalties, on the road. Because the top 3 is going to be Formula Danny, Mark and Marek, unless something major happens. But over here, it could be anyone's fight. As Photon, he's going to do the move. He had been lining that up for so long on Calcifer. But he's able to pull it off on Soren. A beautiful move from Photon to move back up into 5th place. However, Soren may be able to get the DRS run on the exit of turn 11. I feel like he may just be a bit too far back. Soren has DRS, but so does Photon. He's still able to close in a fair bit. Iepany's too far back, and the positions will stay as they are. Twin Barrel J picks up another 3-second time penalty. But so far, the only thing that's really keeping Calcifer fully in this is the fact that he doesn't have any penalties, as Photon locking up just a little bit. So Sundari goes with Danny, Marek, Mark, top 3 after penalties. Yes, after penalties. Mark has 11 seconds while Marek has 6. So Mark has 5 more seconds of time penalties because of that pit stop. What is it called? Speeding in the pit lane. However, Photon closing in onto Calcifer. He's trying to give a little shimmy that he's looking down the inside. Calcifer's going to have a little bit of a moment with the back end. He's going defensive into turn 2. And Velocity Photon, he has a psychological advantage, let's just say. And Iepany is actually closing in. He's right on the tail of Soren now. And we can actually see Photon up ahead. So we'll stick with this for now. So we can see Photon up ahead. Right, we have to stick on board with Photon. Will he have a go down the inside? No, he has to do it on the DRS. But he's going to get a great exit, or at least he should theoretically. He's gone for such a late apex there. And he has a speed advantage before the DRS comes into play. Calcifer, how defensive will he go? Very, very defensive, it would seem. Photon, can he finally do it this time round? He's going to try to hold it around the outside. Calcifer forces him wide. Let's stick on board with Calcifer. This time Photon pushes him ever so slightly wide. Can Calcifer do it down the inside into 15? There's contact. Calcifer loses a bit of his front wing. And that could have thrown. Is that going to throw his entire race away? Let's see how he is through the S's. As now Soren's going to have a go onto Calcifer. There's contact. Oh, as we look from Iepany's position, only 6 laps remaining. Soren's going to push Calcifer out wide. And Soren will find the way through Calcifer with DRS. But so does Iepany. And Iepany has 3 seconds of time penalties. If Calcifer lost anything here with his front wing, as Iepany is going to go down the inside of Soren. But he's not going to be able to make it work. Meanwhile, Calcifer. Right, let's just see his speed through the S's. I think he may have lost a bit of his front wing there. That is absolutely crazy. And from being Calcifer's lost part of his front wing. He has definitely lost part of his front wing. And now he needs to stay within 3 seconds of Iepany, because Iepany only has 3 seconds of time penalty. Meanwhile, Marek is going to find a way through on Mark. Mark's going to have no real way of fighting this. Marek's just been quicker today. So that's how that position is going to line up. But meanwhile, Iepany is looking at Soren. Not too far behind, but Calcifer falling back significantly. So let's watch out for how that will develop over the remainder of the race. Thank you for that, Neko. I did not actually see that final 3-second time penalty. Right, and while the gaps are fairly big, let's just quickly head over to Race Director and just make sure. Stop go. Okay, so Mark has already served his stop go when he pitted, I think. And then he's got 3 penalties, which is 9 seconds to add on to the 15. So I'm not sure, maybe someone can clarify that. If you get a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane, will that be instantly added on in that pit stop? Or will it not? Because if it is added on, then it doesn't count. So just to clarify that up, if anyone needed it clarifying. But look at Calcifer, he's 3 seconds down. And Calcifer, from battling for second during the first stint, is now all the way down in 7th. And he has to somehow stay in contact with these guys with only 5 laps remaining. And he's losing so much time. In fact, 5 seconds remaining. Keep an eye on the gap to Black Panther. I doubt he'll be losing 2 seconds a lap. But it could possibly cost him. So currently Photon has 3 seconds, Soren has 6, and Iepany has 3. So as it stands, Iepany will jump ahead of Soren, as will Calcifer, but Photon will hold on to his position. However, I don't know if Calcifer can actually hold on to this or not. It's gonna be difficult, to say the least. Oh, Soren has a bit of a lag spike. Almost falls straight back into Iepany, which would have been great news for Calcifer if there was a front wing loss there. Calcifer needs these guys to fight for position so that he can stay in touch with them. However, Photon is just going to push. He knows he has 3 seconds of time penalties and just wants to get as far away from these guys as possible. However, Iepany down the inside of Soren. He's going to have a go into turn 10. Sorry, into turn 11. And he won't quite make the move stick, but he does have DRS. He's going to look for the inside, and surely he's going to have this. However, we've seen people defend from the outside into turn 12 before, and Soren will look to get the cutback. He's now on the outside. This is great news for Calcifer. I will keep on mentioning how good this is for Calcifer. Soren's going to hold it down the inside. Iepany going to have a go. 5 seconds the gap between these two. Iepany down the inside into the triple right-hander. He's going to try to force Soren out wide. And he will actually make the move. Stick Iepany up into 5th place. However, Soren does still have an opportunity to get past if he can get the drive out of this final corner, which he does. He gets a really good drive straight onto the DRS. He's going to go for the inside, and this is all again playing into the hands of Calcifer. It's currently 5 seconds separating them. They need to pull out 1 more second, or at least Soren does. Iepany is fine with this. He will take 5th as it stands. Toffee getting well out of the way. Meanwhile, up ahead, Mark keeping in touch with Marek, but I feel like that's just DRS helping him out. He doesn't actually have the pace. Also, we have clarification. Mark's penalty, the 5-second penalty, is still to be applied. Iepany too far back. Can Soren actually pull the pin now? The gap from Soren to Calcifer is almost 6 seconds, is about a tenth away. If they continue battling, it may not stay as it is. Black Panther is closing about 3 seconds as Mark picks up another time penalty. That is crucial because 5 penalties in ORL means you get disqualified. And that means Mark will get disqualified. So Photon will take the final position on the podium. Big news as Iepany picks up another time penalty. That's 6 seconds. Calcifer 6 seconds down at the minute. So he won't be able to find anything just yet. That penalty also means that Iepany and Soren are now fighting for position. Iepany does not have the penalty to fall back on us. Iepany loses the back end under braking, and that may just about have given Soren enough breathing room to seal 5th place. Formula Danny, he's been at the front all race. We have barely even looked at him apart from when he came into the pit. So it's been a pretty flawless race from the championship contender. Once again, actually, another pole. It looks like another race win and probably another fast lap as well. Race picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Black Panther closing in on Calcifer. If there were another 4 laps, he may have actually been able to find some way through. But that is so unlucky for Calcifer. However, we'll keep an eye on that gap, but let's ride with our race leader, Formula Danny, as he has entered his final lap of the Grand Prix. Oh, bit of a lock up into turn 11, and I'm starting to feel now he's going for a new fastest lap. Look how little Urzi he has. He's deploying practically everything down this straight. Iepany 7/10 down on Soren, but 8 seconds ahead of Calcifer, which is all that matters now. Calcifer picks up a 3-second time penalty. So that is that. He has practically no way of getting past Iepany now. Iepany is over a second. Is set. What's happened to Iepany? Calcifer's found a way through, so Calcifer will actually take. Has he got a puncture? He's got a right rear puncture. That is crazy. But Formula Danny has taken the race wing. And Iepany with a puncture on the final lap. As Rage gets a 10-second time penalty. I have never seen that before. But Iepany 22 laps on those super soft tyres. And Mark has a 5-second time penalty for the unserved stop-go penalty. So that's just over then and there. So Mark has crossed the finish line. Photon only 3 seconds down after penalties. Let's see if anyone jumps them on penalties. Of course, this is after, as Rage picks up another penalty. That's a lot of penalties. He'll get a disqualification as well. So Photon will finish ahead of Soren. Calcifer 4 seconds down. And Black Panther 2 seconds down on Calcifer at the end of the race. That was actually close for Calcifer. But Calcifer, actually, could we get clarification? Mark did get 5 penalties plus the 5-second penalty at the end for not serving the stop-go penalty. So will he get disqualified? And Elsinger actually, it's a drag. Elsinger's actually going to make it work. Can Iepany actually jump ahead of him? No, he can't. And Iepany just misses out on the points. That spin that he had on the exit of turn 11 after he had the penalty has thrown it away. And I mean, it was unfortunate for Calcifer where he lost his front wing, but it's also fortunate for Calcifer now with the mark disqualification and the this no points from Iepany, the puncture from Iepany. So I feel like it has kind of balanced itself out. But your race winner once again is of course Formula Danny. It always is, isn't it? And Marek takes second place, which is good to see. Marek finally on the podium after having so many DNFs. Mark also on the podium taking third. However, we will have to see what the stewards will be saying about those penalties. So for final confirmation then, and just to check all the penalties, let's just see. So Mark picked up 5 time penalties. Now, I believe one of those was right at the end for... One of those was right at the end for not serving the penalty, so I guess that affects things. However, Formula Danny with the fastest lap, pole position and the race win takes the race win, as I just said. Marek takes second and Mark provisionally with third. Fodron takes fourth ahead of Soren in fifth and Calcifer in sixth. Black Panther takes seventh ahead of Myla, while Elsinger and Weebs round out the top 10 ahead of what is a disappointing finish for Iepany after he was running and looking to get a solid 5th/6th place finish. However, now that that has all been said and done, we can move over to Steam chat and have our race interviews with the top guys. So let's turn on that beautiful ORL background that has been designed for us. Also, thank you massively, R7. Great work as usual with that. So if any of you guys do have any questions to ask any of these guys, do let us know, or do let me know so I can ask them for you. So let's join the voice channel. Hello. Hello. Yet another race win.
Actually, I misloaded in my setup and it was half a second slower per each lap.
Ooh, that's a shame.
Yes.
Who needs half a second?
Like in quali, even in esports, I did a 29.0.
Right.
Now I was only able to do a 29.8 and an invalid 29.5. In the race, however, in lap 5, which in practice I still did a 34.6, while here I did a 34.6. So at the end of the stint it was a second slower. I literally had a 0 tire saving capacity, like all the time I overheated them.
Oh yeah, Iepany was actually going to finish ahead of Calcifer to help you out in your championship, and then you got a puncture on the final lap through turn 11. So that was a shame. But, right, do we know who else is going to join, or should we start? Also, Panther, when you were leading the practice, when you were leading in practice, I was just thinking, wait, how are you, Weebs and Elsinger 1, 2, and 3? I was so confused.
Oh, it's like, come on, let me get this one, but Marek was faster than me,
Yeah. I don't get how all of you guys somehow, from practice to qualifying, always find a second. Like, I just don't get it.
Just with the max fuel, I think.
Really?
Yeah,
that gives you a second?
Yeah, at about 7 tenths or 8, but the track is getting better as well.
Fair. Right. Okay. I guess. Right. Hang on. let me just ask Marek slash. So do you have your lasagna ready for your race win?
Sorry?
Do you have your lasagna ready for the win?
No, I don't.
Ah, that's right. Hang on, I'm gonna check now. What race win that is for you? Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th race win, 4th in a row.
Good.
And that one time where you didn't get the win in Italy, otherwise it would have been 2, 4, 6, that would have been your 7th win in a row otherwise. Wow, that is disgusting. Right, did they message? No, they haven't messaged. Okay then, I guess we'll just start here then. So, Formula Danny, 7th race win of the season, and it's just win after win after win. How was the race?
Yes, hello guys. I was pretty angry because I loaded in bad setups, and it may sound weird, but I was actually half a second slower per lap, and I had a terrible tire wear. That is the reason why I also chose to go with a 2-stop strategy. I started the race to go with the 1-stop because I believe that it is faster. But the others battled with each other. I could build an advantage in the beginning and could keep that, and I was also pretty consistent. I was just not as fast as I could possibly have been. But yes, it wasn't the most exciting race ever in my life, to be honest. I heard that behind me there were big action many times. I'm just happy that I could produce like good consistency. I didn't have any warnings. Well, I think I had one warning, and that's it. Everybody else got penalty, or nearly everybody else, so I think I should be happy now. Unfortunately, I missed about 8 races this season, so it's very hard for me to fight in the championship. I'm still 42 points behind Carl Cipher, or I don't know, Carl Cipher, or I don't know how to pronounce his name.
You missed 8 races actually.
Yeah, so I will crack on for the last 3 and see how it works out.
Also, I've got a kind of question. You don't have to answer it if you don't want to, but it's is your esports teammate Mr. Velocity Photon, is he going to be helping you to achieve your goal? Is he going to be acting as your secondary driver in races?
I think he always tries to put down the best performance. I really hope that he will finish ahead of my rival. However, I do not think that I will be in a position where he needs to help me, because I can win by my own power. But it's already a big help if he just finishes ahead on track and steals some points. But yeah, everything needs to stay clean and things like that. And yeah, I just focus on my job. I'm actually in a pretty bad situation, because if Calcifer finishes 2 times 5th and 1 times 4, then we are even, or I win by 1 point. But if he finishes like only 4th 3 times, then he wins the championship, and I think he is very fast, so he can definitely do that.
Well,
but,
there's... oh, sorry, go on.
I have nothing to do with it. Like, I didn't even know that the championship was like how it was until this race, because the admin of the league actually told me that I should pay attention for that, because I never check any standings. But it's the same in AOR. Like, I don't know what is it like. I never watched. Even when I was the champion, I didn't watch it, because it doesn't change anything. I always want to finish in the highest order, and of course at the last few races I can count and maybe go for the safety, but all in all I just drive. I like driving and racing and
Yeah.
see you next week.
Of course. Well, a great race from you, and we look forward to another masterclass. You know, I want to see another pole, fastest lap, and race win for where are we next week? Mexico.
Okay, thank you very much.
Right. Okay. Sauron, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So I think you finished 5th, or was it 4th?
5th.
5th. Okay.
4th on 4th.
Yeah. You had, I mean, the second stint, even from the latter stages of the first stint, yourself, Calcifer, Marek, Mark, Photon, and then right at the end, Epiphany as well. Just talk us through how crazy that race was.
Yeah, it was an unstoppable fight from almost the start of the race. It was pretty tense sometimes. Yeah, it was very good. We've done, I think, a fun race. So yeah, it was. I mean, yeah, I think everyone were delighted with that. But yeah, yeah, it was cool.
And just wanted to check, did you see the incident where Calcifer, I think he went into the back of Marek and lost part of his front wing?
When he broke a part of front wing?
Yeah, I think it was yeah, the left.
If I remember well, it was with Photon.
Okay.
Because it was defending very well to Photon, who comes back because he had fresher soft tires, so he was faster than us. And yeah, at this moment, he tried to enter the inside at the double left at the start of sector 3, and yeah, he broke his front wing at this moment. I also watched that. We've done a little incident with him and Yeponi, and I'm very sorry about for him, because definitely I think I had to let a little bit more space to Yeponi. The problem is that I didn't saw that Calcifer was on the Yeponi's left, so yeah,
I mean,
very sorry about that.
It's fine, it was racing. I mean, when I was looking at it, I was like, oh, this is great side by side, and then I was like, oh, look, it's three abreast. So, no, it was a good race from yourself, and I think while it was tight and hard, I think it was all perfectly fair. So, a good race from yourself, and well done with finishing 5th.
Thank you.
Right. Okay. Also, I might as well ask, will we be seeing you for next week in Mexico?
Sorry.
I was saying, will we be seeing
I
you?
didn't.
No.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I will be there for Mexico.
Okay, great. Well, we look forward to seeing you there, and best of luck for that race.
Thank you very much.
Right. Panther, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Ooh, let me turn up. Okay, your volume is on. Right. The last couple of laps, you must have seen the fact that you were closing in up to Calcifer by about 1 to 2 seconds a lap. Did you ever think I can get him?
No, I was like, no, he will be surely faster than me. But I think he had wing damage or something like that, so I was like, okay, I can push the gap down. But I wouldn't overtaking him, I think, if I could, because I know he's in a championship position, so I want to help him out.
Yeah, we're seeing the camaraderie now, but it was 11 seconds with like 5 laps to go, and I think at the end it was 5 seconds, and he had a 3-second time penalty, so you almost jumped.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, that's very close. I mean, no flaming, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. But how's your race from the rest of that? I apologize because I didn't actually get to see much of your race because the guys
It was
ahead were
very
nuts.
good. It
Yep.
was very good because I think I did an undercut on Belay, and yeah, I was in front of him after the pit stop, so then I could hold that gap very good. And in the beginning, I was also very lucky with Flexis Marcy, who was struggling with tires, I think, and yeah, he almost crashed into me or slid into me. So I'm happy I could avoid those things.
It was, I think you and Flex Marcy, that was on lap 1. Was it lap 1?
Not sure. I think lap 3 or something like that.
But it was a great race again. I think, was it you and Marcy who tapped twice in Japan on the first lap as well?
Yeah, true.
So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Mexico lap 1 now as well.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
Oh, that will be fun.
So I mean, a good result from you. I think you got 8th, was it?
Yeah, I think 6 points of this.
6 points.
Because I
And
had P7.
And I think Mark may be getting disqualified because he had 5 penalties. So again, we'll wait to see what happens there. But he may get
Yeah,
6th
right.
place. So, but yeah, a good result. And how are you feeling for Mexico?
Very good, I think. It will be a good race if I don't get like today.
Fair enough.
So yeah.
Well, best of luck for Mexico, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Right, Emilio, how you doing, man?
I'm fine, and you? How are you? Pleased to hear you.
I'm doing all right. That was an entertaining race. How was it from your side?
I was at the start like a cat with the water, you know, because on that track it's very tough to drive without any contact, and I was very cautious at the beginning, and it was not enough because I touched a little bit rage or chase, and I lost some part of my front wing again. It's pity because I had a very good balance and a good brakes. So it could have been much easier without that contact to pass Toffee.
Right. And in terms of strategies, I know Formula Danny mentioned the 2-stop strategy. Did you ever kind of consider that as well, or?
Sorry, yeah, my drawing, was quite consistent, and as I started from P15, I could start with red tire, so it was a good start with it, and then with a medium one, a good finish. It's just my mistake with the front wing and some lack of experience because I used not best gearbox right ratio in some corners, and since I started the second part of the race, I understood how I could pass in a better way some corners, so that's pity.
Well, a good job from you. Where did you? I think you came quite close to the top 10 in the end, didn't you?
Yeah, maybe on a finally not on that track. I would have hoped for a closer pace, but I think Mexico will be a big chance for me because I practice a lot on it, and I have very good feeling, very stable car, good driving. So let's hope for it.
All right. Well, best of luck there, and yeah. So hope to see you in Mexico, and best of luck for the race. And of course, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you a lot. Thank you a lot.
Okay. Right, guys. So that has been round 18 of the ORL Championship. Calcifer drops 17 points to Formula Danny, so the gap is only 40 points with 3 races remaining. That means that even if Calcifer finishes 4th in the remaining 3 races, he will lose by 2 points, so he needs to get a 3rd somewhere down the line. But join us next week, same time as usual, 7:30 p.m. GMT for round 19 at the Mexico Grand Prix. Thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.